What's the story of Falkirk? How did you end up starting the company? Either one of you want to take that?
Yeah, I can start. So the name comes from a small town in Scotland between Edinburgh and Glasgow, and it's renowned for a few things in terms of engineering excellence and things. And I have a bit of a family history that goes back there. And so the name was something initially that I had adopted into my own personal business when I was advising companies. And I had the great fortune of I was the executive chairman of a company called IDM Mining. We had and I was one of the co-founders of it. It was had an underground gold project in northwestern British Columbia, where they call the Golden Triangle, which anybody in the business has probably heard a lot about. And part of my responsibility in that company was to lead a major environmental assessment of a federal, provincial, work with the Nisga'a Nation and others to realize the potential of what we thought was a pretty amazing opportunity. The company ended up getting taken over by Ascot Gold, which is a BC company that actually just poured their first gold in the last week. But first bar came out just this week, so it's a pretty cool. It's quite an evolution. But through that process, I had the opportunity to meet Jen. She was retained, along with Max Brownhill, to lead our other partner, to lead the EA, lead the permitting, lead the work that went around building all these really positive relationships. And I think the outcome of that, is that we navigated a process that's really complex, multiple levels of government and everything, and we did it in almost record time. We had a really positive outcome and a super good approval for the company, and I think it also facilitated IDM's ultimate takeover by Ascot, because we helped. A big part of what we focus on is trying to manage risk and navigate timelines, but kind of add value. And so I was, when we finished it and the company was taken over, I was kind of out of a job, and I thought, well, and we began to have a conversation like, maybe we can apply this model that's worked so well here and help other companies kind of navigate that process. And it was really there that we, coming off a really successful undertaking. I mean, there's only been a few. I mean, the thing about this is there's only been a few of these in British Columbia in the last 10 years that have actually navigated it successfully. And I would count on
Canada.
Canada, but on one hand, and
Yeah.
we've been involved in, I think, Jen, probably 3 of the 5, right?
Really?
As a group, right? So we know this stuff. And so what we were really trying to do was one of the things that, and I'm putting my client hat on, what has happened over the last number of years in the advisory side, like mining companies tend to be pretty small, right? And they don't have big teams. So they really rely on the advisory consulting support that they get, whether it's engineering, environment, whatever. And what we found over time was the big consultants, they were acquiring all the smaller firms. So you end up with this situation where if you're not like Shell or like BHP Billiton, you're not always getting the A team. You're getting maybe the B or C team.
Oh, I see.
You're maybe not getting the support that you need in these. I mean, some of these consulting organizations are over 100,000 employees, right? And you're a small mining company or a mid-sized mining company trying to build a project in the BC. Just the sheer like size differential in companies, it's difficult.
Well, and the level of talent, like working with consultant, I mean, the level of talent in a consulting firm is, I mean, it's night and day. It's like not working with the same company.
Well, yeah. It's like, and so what we said was, maybe like mining's a very high touch business, right? Like mineral projects, there's a lot of dynamics going on with exploration and with changes in design and with work with communities, and they're often in really remote places that require a lot of infrastructure. And so our, power lines, ports, whatever it is. And so and this comes from our experience, I think generally, is that you need to be successful, you need to really be a part of the owner's team, right? You got to help them and support them to make good decisions that will allow them to get through the process. And so we tend to get, and I think part of, and Jen can speak to this, part of the foundation of what we were trying to do was focus on the key areas that are typically problematic in getting project approvals and things and buy-in and stuff, So we do have a practice in water. We do a lot of work in Indigenous affairs. We do a lot of work in permitting and regulatory. We don't try and do everything. We focus on the things where we think we can really make a difference. And so the whole idea behind the company was bring together some professionals, really applied professionals that know what they're doing, and then kind of provide a boutique applied service to companies that are trying to navigate this new world that we're kind of living in, that was Jen was referring to.